During the country's early years, Mizrahi refugees struggled to overcome social discrimination.
I was really surprised myself how we did it here, because when we came we had nothing. We were for two years in the Ma'abarot. You know what a Ma'abara is. It's a place with a tent which the government gave us as refugees. I was a refugee for 2 years living in a tent. Imagine, in the winter with the cold and in the summer with the heat. So, but what the Egyptian community did here was just, how to call it, they became self-made persons here.
The Iraqi Jews are hardworking people. They are very well educated, and you know, they were in the first line in the Iraqi economy. So in a way, they shifted all their skills to the Israeli efforts to establish a good economy and a good society.
There are no Jews left in Libya today. The Darvishi synagogue in Tripoli once overflowed with congregants on the Sabbath and on holidays. Today, it is abandoned and vandalized. Only a few dozen Jews remain in Iraq, Egypt, Yemen, Syria, and Lebanon. Outside Beirut, the Hamdoun synagogue sits empty. In Morocco, the El Husseini synagogue in the old Jewish quarter of Fez is now a boxing club. After Jews fled Iraqi Kurdistan in 1955, this synagogue was turned into a mosque. A dirt road was built over this old Jewish cemetery, with foot traffic exposing Jewish graves. Vibrant Middle Eastern communities that once numbered in the hundreds of thousands are no more. All told, nearly 1 million Jews have fled Arab countries and Iran, and hundreds of Jewish communities have been ethnically cleansed.
Behind every intimidation, behind every silencing, behind every persecution, behind every beating or murder of Jews from Arab lands, behind every property sequestered, behind every assets seized, behind every bank account blocked, we're talking about the historiography of an entire community.
If I say, who are the Middle East refugees, people don't think at all about the Jews. All the people think about are the Palestinians.
Many people ask me, why do you call yourself forgotten refugees? It is interesting to note that in the history of the Middle East, we have been totally cut out of the picture.
The United Nations General Assembly since 1947 has adopted 687 resolutions on the Arab-Israeli conflict. 101 of those resolutions dealt with refugees. But all those 101 resolutions dealt with Palestinian refugees only. It's astonishing to realize that not one resolution, not one of these resolutions ever dealt with the issue of Jewish refugees from Arab lands.
So it was change of population between the Jews and the Arabs. Both of them were refugees.
About 50% of the Jewish population today in Israel is made up of Mizrahi Jews, Jews like myself who came from the Arab countries. We are the face of Israel.
Anti-Semitism now in the Arab world is 100 times worse than when I lived there. It permeates every sector of Egyptian society and Arab Islamic society. In the mosque, in the school, in everyday conversation, on television. I don't think there can ever be peace unless they can become more tolerant towards their own cousins, the Jews.
I think the only path to peace is when people can open their hearts and listen to the stories of everyone involved. And this means both the positive things, the points of connection between Arabs and Jews, where there's an overlap of culture, and also the points of oppression.
Peace will not depend on my belief. Peace will depend on certain things that have to happen. First of all, accommodation. That is to say, the Arabs have to realize that the Jewish state is here to stay and to make peace with it, and then to negotiate the terms. We want this, we want that, that's legitimate. But if you want to destroy your neighbor, you can never have peace. That's my main problem with them. If there is a recognition and accommodation, the sky is the limit. Everything is possible.
We were so happy when Israel signed peace with Egypt. It was like a dream coming true. We couldn't believe when Sadat came. We were so happy, and we hoped that it will continue with the other Arab countries.
We are here, Jews from all over the world. We are not just from Europe. And this is our culture. And we have to transfer it to the next generation. It's part of our life. It's part of Judaism.
Only when the state of Israel, this is the only shelter, open its gate, we have the shelter, we have the house, our house in Israel, and I am many proud, much proud to be Israeli, much proud my grandchildren, grandsons, granddaughter, all of them are serving the army, and they are contributing to the state of Israel as a whole. I wish that the peace takes place between us, between the neighbors.
The peace will come, will appear, must, because each human wants to live. All human wants to live. He wants his family, his children to continue living. And if we continue this way of killing each other, of these troubles, and so on and so forth, I mean, there is no hope for them, there is no hope for us.
We were really the